Hi, welcome to TNT, our Monday program, start of a brand new week as we barrel on towards the election. Only 2 weeks to go, so you'll only have to put up with reports on polls and things for another couple of weeks. Hope you had a great weekend, and thank you to all those people that watched our programs over the weekend and even joined in on our Saturday live program. So let's move on with today's story. We start with Thai PBS World, the latest in this serial killer case. Murder charges filed against the suspect in series of cyanide poisonings, so formal charges have now been laid after an initial investigation, and it appears that there are more cases pending. So this case will continue, and the body count could get bigger. And the Thai PBS story says that police announced on Saturday night that murder charges were filed by the police against a Thai female, she's 36-year-old Sararat, in connection with the deaths of 8 people. Now, we already know that there's at least 12 cases being investigated and more underway, but official murder charges have now been filed in relation to 8 deaths. And there's a list of the cases there where formal charges have been laid, and the confirmation of the presence of cyanide metabolites in the body of Sirapon and her relationship with Sararat. Sirapon is one of the people who survived the cyanide poisoning, brought it to the attention of the police, which really opened up this entire can of worms. So it's her case which led to the arrest of the suspect on April the 25th and an extended investigation resulting in the unearthing of a series of suspicious deaths, all linked to the suspect, according to police. And the Crime Suppression Division Deputy Commander said police will question a nurse at a hospital in Thonburi who is reported to be a close friend of the suspect. We found out last week that the suspect's sister was also a pharmacist, and there were suspicions raised there. No official announcement at this stage. Let's go to some more information on that story. This from the Bangkok Post. Pregnant Am Sayaside faces multiple murder charges, and police on Saturday night elaborated on the arrest warrants against Sararat. 7 of the warrants were based on charges of premeditated murder in cases ranging from late 2020 to as recently as, well, it would have been last month, given that today is the 1st of May. The 36-year-old suspect, a native of Kanchanaburi province, nicknamed Am, was dubbed Am Sayaside after police found traces of cyanide in the most recent dead body, that of Sirapon, and in the suspect's vehicle in a probe into what's believed to be serial killings. So no doubt there will be more information on that coming out over the next week or so. Officially now, 8 murder charges filed against that woman. Moving on to some weather news, and this from thepatianews.com. Several areas in Bangkok flooded after heavy rain. I should also report that on Friday, and well, especially Saturday night, we had quite a downpour, certainly in the centre of the island. Quite a bit of rain dropped, and my lawn will be very happy for a little bit of moisture. Let's move on with this story, and it says that according to the Department of Drainage and Sewerage, moderate to heavy rain occurred in many districts in Bangkok, and there's a list of them there. It seems most of them are in sort of central Bangkok, and the highest rain level of 55 millimetres was in the Bang Na district. And not all is bad news, however, as the rain has helped clear up the air pollution and lowered boiling hot temperatures across the affected areas. Glad to say I slept the last couple of nights with just the fan again. Nice to get away from the aircon. And here is IQ Air. This is this morning around about 8 a.m. and we can see I've drawn 3 arrows there. The top arrow there pointing to basically Chiang Mai and shows that we've got a little bit of green and some more yellow, which is an indication that the air pollution crisis has dropped a little bit. Down in the middle, the arrow pointing to Bangkok and mostly yellow, which is considered moderate. And down the bottom there, an arrow pointing to Phuket, where we've also got moderate air quality. And there is that scale down the bottom there that shows you want green, you don't want dark purple. So that's from IQ Air. And we should also thank 5 Star Marine for their ongoing support of the program. So here at the headquarters of 5 Star Marine, that's Sean, thank you very much for their continuing sponsorship of the program. If you'd like to go on a private tour to any of the beautiful islands off Phuket, I can highly recommend 5 Star Marine. As you can see, all the boats are gone. I look like I've missed the boat. There's a link in the description of this video. This is our Monday TNT, our next story from the Straits Times, reporting Thailand's election race heats up with opposition party Pheu Thai dominating the poll. I think we can pretty much say, given the polls and what we've seen over the past month or so, well, even before, that it's really just a one-horse race now. Pheu Thai is going to win the primary votes in the election. The big question is what's going to happen with the formation of a coalition, unless they can get 50% of the vote plus one, which, given the recent poll, still appears unlikely, but we've still got 2 weeks to go. Let's see what's happening. And Pheu Thai, the story says, is in the prime position ahead of the country's hotly contested May 14 election, with the latest polls showing it has a significant lead. And Pheu Thai, with a long-standing affiliation with former Premier Thaksin Shinawatra, won the backing of nearly 41.4% of roughly 162,000 eligible voters surveyed. So quite a wide survey, 162,000 people, by the Suan Dusat poll. This was released on Saturday, and the nationwide poll was conducted between April 10 and 20. The Move Forward Party, which proposes some of the most reform-minded progressive policies, Pheu Thai and Move Forward are the parties with the most sort of progressive policies in Thailand. The Move Forward coming in second with 19.32% support. United Thai Nation Party, and this is the party of caretaker Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, they received 8.5%, while the Palang Pracharat Party, led by the Deputy PM Prawit Wongsuwon, saw nearly 8%. The Palang Pracharat Party, which of course is the leader in the coalition government, they were until Parliament was dissolved a month ago. And another survey by Thai language newspaper Matachon and Daily News, which was released on Saturday, showing that the Move Forward Party leader Peter was the top choice for Premier. He got nearly 50% of the poll surveyed result. Now, he was followed by 2 candidates from Pheu Thai, one of them including the youngest daughter of Thaksin Shinawatra, Patongtan Shinawatra. Now, just interesting to do a bit of maths there. So together they survey around about 85% of the people surveyed by Matachon and Daily News. Now, these are 3 of the younger, more progressive potential prime ministers. This does not bode well for the incumbents or the conservative side of politics in Thailand. Leads us to our next story from Global Voices. Thailand election debate. Parties share stand on the royal defamation laws. This is the Article 112, which talks about lèse Majeste and insults to the royal institution or the royal family or His Majesty the King. Now let's just have a quick look at this, noting that the article was originally published by Prachachai and reprinted by globalvoices.org. And between 2014 and 2019, at least 106 individuals were prosecuted under the law. The interpretation of this law has been widened without clear boundaries and has included cases involving sharing Facebook posts, opinions about the royal family's pets, or burning portraits of the former king. A quasi-moratorium on the use of Section 112 lasted from 2018 to 2020, with the PM stating that King Vajiralongkorn had asked for Section 112 not to be used. So the article reporting about this debate over the weekend about Section 112 in the Criminal Code gives a bit of background. By the way, I'll put a link to this report in the description for those people that would like to read the full report. But it also describes the one party that is prepared to put up some changes, which has put them up against literally all the other parties that don't want any outward changes to the Section 112 of the Criminal Code. And the Move Forward Party says that Section 112 is problematic in terms of enforcement and its legal provisions. And they say the penalty of 3 to 15 years in prison, which is equivalent to manslaughter, is excessive. Number 2, not everyone should have the right to file complaints. They say any complaint should be filed by the office of His Majesty's Principal Private Secretary. And number 3, Section 112 should be removed from the chapter in the Criminal Code dealing with national security. And number 4, that if the alleged offence is done in good faith without malicious intent, there should be no prosecution. So the Move Forward Party, the only party that is putting down in its manifesto for the forthcoming election what it would suggest for Section 112. Now, the dynamic here is that it pits it against Pheu Thai Party, who policy-wise would be by far the closest and both polling very well and probably potential coalition partners. But this issue could be a bit of a thorn in the sides when they come to sit down and discuss a coalition after the election. We move forward to this story originally posted in Straits Times. From watermelon to weed, Thai farmers regret switching to cannabis as prices fall. So this was a paid subscription article, but it was reprinted in the Malaysian publication The Star. So let's read on. And it starts by talking about a small-time farmer called Tukta Sinin. The 43-year-old pumped in nearly 500,000 baht to grow 400 cannabis plants on her land in Nakhon Phanom, a northeastern province by the Mekong River. But she says after a year, she has not sold any of her cannabis crop, let alone turned a profit. And she says, "I'm very disappointed. We lost money. Nobody wants to buy our crop." She told the Straits Times it's not a cash crop. And with the local medical marijuana market projected to be worth about 43 billion baht by 2025, the move to delist the cannabis plant as a narcotic was intended not just to boost national income, but also to help small and medium-sized businesses and rural farmers earn some extra income. More comments here from Dr. Banchop Promsa. He's the leader of the Cannabis Community Enterprise Network in Nakhon Phanom. He said, but when the crop was ready, we couldn't sell it. And he obtained approval to grow the plant shortly after Thailand in 2019 first allowed the limited use of cannabis for medical purposes. So it didn't all just suddenly happen in 2022 in June last year. There were some earlier moves to slowly decriminalise cannabis use and allow its growing for medicinal uses. And today he leads a collective of about 200 farmers. In 2022, they signed an agreement with a third-party business which promised the farmers would earn 5,000 to 30,000 baht per kilogram of dried cannabis flowers. But that third-party business has not been able to find any buyers willing to match that price. He added that the wholesale price of dried flowers has dropped drastically. And he's quoted as saying, before June 2022, dried cannabis buds fetched about 5,000 to 7,500 baht per kilo, but the legal change led to more than 1.3 million growers entering the industry. That's a staggering amount of people just suddenly planting a pot plant. And as a result of oversupply and price cutting, market prices are now around 500 to 2,000 baht. And the report originally from the Straits Times says the lure of the local cannabis industry is not fading only for farmers. Business has dropped by more than 80% at the RG 420 cannabis store located in the tourist hotspot of Khao San Road in Bangkok since its opening in 2022. The owner said, with so many cannabis shops along the street, it might look like the demand is high, but it's not. The article says thousands of weed dispensaries as well as cannabis-related businesses and products emerged following the relaxation of rules, but the initial cannabis boom, which saw long lines forming outside these stores, has dissipated, especially after the legal flip-flopping by the authorities. Well, it's not so much legal flip-flopping, it's been just the absence of any legal framework because the Parliament was unable to decide on provisions in a cannabis bill. And that twilight zone still continues, which leaves a lot of these people who have invested money sort of up in the air, not knowing what the future is. And in another story, this from the BBC.com, Thailand, Southeast Asia's weed wonderland, and talks about Tukta, a 21-year-old university student who jumped on the marijuana bandwagon last year, sinking more than 1 million baht, and she's got a dispensary and coffee shop called The Herb Club in Klong Toi, and she sells 16 different grades of the cured flower, ranging from $10 to $80 a gram, but she worries about possible changes with the law. She says the price is falling because there's a glut of marijuana. There are a lot of illegal imports. We're growing strains from overseas which need air conditioning and lighting. We should look into developing strains that work for our climate to lower costs. And she's speaking some sense here in her next line. We really need to go back to our old heritage, our old cultures, because cannabis and Thailand, are very interwoven with each other. And that story continues. That's at the bbc.com if you'd like to read more about it. So leading up to the election in under 2 weeks, there is still a lot of discussion and a lot of question marks over the future of cannabis in Thailand. You're watching TNT. Our next story on the program from Thai PBS, and they're reporting 5 Chinese nationals arrested for setting up a religious sect and selling magic potion. Damn, why didn't I think of that? Let's see what the story says. 5 Chinese nationals, including a woman who claims to be the mother of the universe with the ability to connect with divine figures, have been arrested by Thai immigration police in Banglamung district of Chonburi. Immigration police say the 5 arrived in Thailand on tourist visas and set up a religious sect called Lion Kingdom Federation, spread the gospel of the sect, and solicited donations from believers, who include Chinese tourists and Thais. So you come to Thailand as a tourist, dangle your feet in the Gulf of Thailand and think, I might join a sect while I'm here. And police say the group also concocted a potion which they sold, claiming that it would give the purchaser long life, free from all illness, adding that he was afraid that the elixir may be harmful to those who take it, and decided to make the arrest. Well, I'm sure the magic potion can't be much worse than that welcome drink that a lot of Thai hotels provide, that sort of pink, super sweet concoction, some sort of fruit cocktail. Don't think there's any fruit in it. Anyway, the story goes on to say that the immigration police have revoked the tourist visa of Huang, she's the leader of the sect, and another Chinese man, and put them on blacklists, barring them from entering Thailand. So it looks like the mother of the universe has been flung out of the country by the Thai Immigration Department. Now the latest in the Royal Thai Navy's attempts to salvage a ship that sank in the Gulf of Thailand earlier this year, and the story reported by the Bangkok Post, funds sought for salvage op. And the Royal Thai Navy will relocate its budget to find a way to pay the costs of salvaging the HTMS Sukhothai after the Budget Bureau said it could only put up 70 million baht towards the 130 million baht cost. And further down, the HTMS Sukhothai sank in rough seas about 19 nautical miles off the coast of Prachuap Khiri Khan on December the 8th last year. So it was December last year, it wasn't earlier this year, sorry about that. And out of the 105 crew aboard the ship, 76 were rescued, 24 died, 5 remain missing. And the Navy wants to salvage the ship to investigate the cause of the ship's sinking. It's requested about 200 million baht to fund the operation. Suppose you have to wonder exactly what they might be able to find that they don't already know from the eyewitness reports. At a cost of 200 million baht, it might just be easier to leave the boat where it is. But then again, I suppose this is the Navy and it's just part of their procedures, but they can't seem to find the money. However, as Thailand is gearing up for an election, the budget must be approved by the Budget Bureau and the Election Commission before Cabinet can disperse the funds. And according to the source, 12 firms have shown interest in undertaking the operation, which is expected to take about 90 days to complete. The Navy wants the entire ship to be raised without the vessel being disassembled. The boat's already spent 5 months at the bottom of the Gulf of Thailand. I'm not really sure what they'll be able to find if they raise the boat. If it's going to cost them 200 million baht, perhaps there's other things that the Navy can spend their money on. Now that's all we've got for today's program. Thank you very much for watching. If you get the opportunity to subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. Please click the like button on your way out. Big thanks to 5 Star Marine, and thanks to you for watching, and we'll do it all again tomorrow.